I'm Dan, and this is 10,000 Hours of Indie, a podcast exploring new music and delving deeper into what goes on in the background of the independent music industry. I'm a musician and passionate music lover, and I wanted to delve deeper into new music in the independent scene around the world. I also saw this as a chance to help artists connect and share their stories, so if there's someone you hear and you want to find out more about, every podcast has links in the show description. Get involved, help this community grow, follow on the 10,000 Hours of Indie socials, you can find all the links in the show description. And also feel free to email me about anything music related, 10,000indie@gmail.com. I'm open to any ideas and love listening to your promos. De Change, despite the name, are a Bristol-based post-punk four-piece fronted by former Lambrini Girls singer Flora Kimberley. Playing politically charged, fiercely feminist music, they recently signed to Alcopop Records and released their first single on the label, The Gammons Lament, which is due to be followed by their debut album during 2027. So, Flora and Connor, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hi indeed.
Firstly, congratulations on signing with Alcopop. They are genuinely one of my favourite labels.
Thank you so much. We were so excited. Genuinely, they were our dream label when we were coming up with who we wanted to be signed by, and when we were talking to our manager Jace, it was always the forefront of our choices. So to actually be picked up by them is kind of a little bit of a dream come true, isn't it, Con?
Yeah, we drank a lot of White Russians to celebrate that night.
English band, French name. Let's start with the origin story of the band and name.
Basically, Louis, the drummer in the band, and myself used to play in a band called Biker Grove Fan Club. Unfortunately broke up way before we were ready for it to. We wanted to start a new project, and we'd played with a band that Flora's in called Flora's Bar and Grill. And we were just absolutely blown away by her stage presence. She was living in London at the time. We were in Bath. And we reached out to her, not expecting her to say yes. And she was really keen for it. Will joined on bass. We wrote some demos, and we were literally just jumping between London and Bath, trying to write stuff. Came really naturally, and now we're all living together basically in Bath.
It's changed the complete trajectory of my life, as I'm now living in Bath because of said band. But the name comes from, we came up with loads of really stupid names.
Absolutely Reckless Challenge was on the cutting board for a long time.
And artist formerly known as Prance, that was on for ages.
I still think Prance had a lot going for it.
Basically, it comes from a day-to-day sketch.
Yeah, so it's a day-to-day sketch called Bureau de Change, and it's a drama set in a Bureau de Change with Steve Coogan playing the manager of this Bureau de Change. But I think it's funny how often we play France and stuff, because we find just the words Bureau de Change funny because it's in an English skit, and it's one of those anomalies where you just don't hear it very often unless you're walking down High Street and you read a sign.
Well, all the French magazines keep calling us the Office of Change.
I don't know whether that's auto-translations, though.
Tell me a little about what you wanted the band to be when you first got together. Did you have a sort of starting point of this is what we want to sound like, or was it all very natural?
I don't think that necessarily coming in we had any major expectations or even really what we wanted to sound like, because I wasn't even living in the city that they were all from and all of that. So I think when we first started, it was kind of just being oh God, this really works. And I don't know, there's just something about the way we are together as a group that kind of makes this amalgamation of different kind of styles that is now Bureau de Change. I don't think we necessarily write to sound like anyone. I think you've obviously got influences and things like that, but my influences are so different to the boys that we've kind of ended up with this weird hodgepodge, which is kind of lovely, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there was any clear direction of what we wanted it to be. I think especially when we were writing stuff initially, we wrote like 3 or 4 like just instrumental tracks that we knew we wanted vocals on before Flora was even there, and we were like, it's actually our first EP. A lot of it was written just all over the place, and you can tell we're just not sure which idea is going to land. We weren't sure what one's vocals would work with, but it's nice. It means that you've got kind of like creative mess of different ideas and inspirations just thrown onto a canvas, and I think we've kind of carried that through because it's worked.
So musically, what are your sort of influences? Not necessarily what the bands sound like, but what are the bands that have sort of made you want to be musicians?
For me, Brian Wilson, huge inspiration. Sonic Youth growing up was like my thing, which I think comes through quite clearly. And then bands like Gilla Band, Drive Like Jehu, huge influence for me. A lot of that kind of like 80s, 90s punk that kind of leans into like the more noisier stuff.
Funnily enough, growing up, I was like a proper indie kid. So Florence and the Machine is probably one of my biggest influences in music, just because it was so nice at the time seeing like a woman who was quite quirky and different, like standing on their own differences, as being able to like portray that. Because like kind of previously before that, it just kind of been like the pop girlies and that kind of stuff, and it was like someone who was just unapologetically themselves, being able to be at the forefront of music, doing their own thing, I found like super inspiring. But then the more I like deep delved into music, bands like Bad Brains, Courtney Barnett, and then when I was running my radio show, the amount of bands, like even the band that Connor and Louis were in previously, Biker Grove, have influenced who I've become so much. And like when I was living in Brighton, Annie from Clit Drip was a massive inspiration. They were previously in a band called Witch Shark, who I used to go and see all the time. They were amazing. And Projector and Strange Cages and Tiger Cub, you know, that kind of golden generation of Brighton bands ended up becoming like really quite formative in like the music I started creating.
You've had some pretty significant airplay in the UK, including being played on BBC Radio 1 just last week as this goes out. In modern times, how much do you think that helps when there are so many bands competing for the same space?
Tough one. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, because I think for us, I mean, getting BBC 6 and BBC 1 is like a monumental achievement. But it's a historic monumental achievement. I remember it was always the thing to aim for when I was in starting bands like 10, 15 years ago. And that's never really changed, but like the way we consume music media really has. I don't know as many people who listen to the radio anymore, but the amount of reach that they have is still monumental. And just by applying the fact that we have been played by BBC One and BBC Six to our names is a huge advert for the progress that we've made. It's difficult because, you know, there's so many bands going for it, but I do think when you've made it onto that section of radio media, it's well worth it. It's harder to do, but it's a monumental achievement when it happens.
Well, genuinely, like being played on the indie show, I used to listen to Nicholas Grimshaw like every week doing the indie show. And that's where I got all my music from when I was younger. So for me, it was like a big kind of bucket list personal goal that I always wanted. So I took it as like, you know, I found it really quite overwhelming. But I do think that like being a band now is so different to being a band as it was previously, that it's stuff like one of my friends went completely viral on TikTok with his song, and he's been, booked and blessed ever since. So it's like there's other ways in order to kind of get that same clout these days. But I don't always necessarily think social media like following or like listens on Spotify necessarily relate into like gig sales and stuff like that. So I think like having another branch of like media such as things like radio and podcasts like and press is important, because I think that those things actually lead maybe to more like actual lasting fans.
Currently, as a band, you've self-released an EP and a handful of singles, the latest being your first with Alcopop, the Gammons Lament. Tell me about the single and what was the thought process while you were writing?
Well, funnily enough, when we wrote it in the room when I was living in Leeds. So we wrote it in a rehearsal room in kind of 2 hours, and we were just like, this is great. For some reason, everything about it kind of just really fell together and in place. And then I was just a bit like, I wrote lyrics in the room, but they weren't quite right. They didn't quite fit it. And so I went back and started writing. And I came up with this like visual idea based about, it was when, I can't remember what it was, but it was when there was a big surge about eating the rich. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, you know, you got to eat them before they eat you. And I was like, oh, the meal, the gammons, like, and kind of started putting two and two together with the lyrics and was really happy with them. It was going to originally be called Man Made of Me. And then Viagra Boys just decided to drop the album.
Do you know what? I completely forgot about that.
With the exact same song title and with the exact same concept. And I kind of sat there and went, just put us on a show, guys. But it is quite funny because it must have been written around the same time that song was. Well, it didn't hinder us. It was just more of a like, God, that's so weird. So we had to like kind of reframe it, rename it. So did a bit more like editing on the lyrics, and I'm so happy with it. Like, I'm so happy with how it came out. And I think it's the most proud I've been of anything I've ever released. I'm so excited about it, and I'm glad to see that it's kind of like picking up traction and all of that, because that song really was like a labour of love, getting it out and getting it recorded right and, you know, all of that stuff. So it's kind of lovely to see it in the position that it is.
What is your writing process in general as a band? Do you write together, or you said the first EP that you had already written most of the tracks and you were waiting for vocals, but what is your process now?
I still don't know anymore. It's so chaotic. It's nice because we always do it completely differently, which really stops you from getting writer's block, because if you can't write together in a room, like you can take ideas home and work on them independently and just bring them into a room later. I think it depends on what the environment requires at the time. Like when Flora was up in Leeds, we kind of had to write a lot of instrumental stuff about them and then bring it together in a room, which was really exciting and fun doing it that way. And then sometimes when Flora was there, we could just all throw ideas in together into a hat.
But then we did stuff like, we wrote Marriage acoustically in my flat in Leeds.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever a point where anybody kind of takes an absolute lead on a writing process. It's just it's always communal in some way or another, which is nice because I think it really shows in Will's bass riffs are always electric. The drumming is always so vibrant and exciting. My guitars are always janky. Flora's got this real way of kind of capturing an energy vocally and just kind of erupting. It's kind of just about building an environment where everyone can shine, and I think that's worked for us.
Do you write all of the lyrics, Flora, or does everyone chip in?
No, I write the lyrics. But that's just because I like being collaborative in like the music side of it. But I sometimes find it quite difficult if some people I don't mind taking in lines and stuff of like if people are like, oh, that would be cool, or like an idea. It's just I find it quite hard to like be honest if I know that I'm not singing from my experience or my own thoughts, or like at least even if I get given a line, I'll be like, I'm going to make that sound more like me, that kind of stuff, so that I know that it's truly like my voice, because I don't think I would be able to do it.
I don't think we'd have it any other way either. I think it's so important that everyone's voices are heard in this, and and that's not only vocally, like musically as well. I wouldn't ever tell anyone else in the band what to play. You'd make suggestions maybe, but God, I wouldn't want to listen to them either. I want to express myself. So
yeah, exactly.
So, according to some internet searches, your debut album is scheduled for release next year. Is that right, or is that just some wild abstract that I've found?
No, definitely out next year. It's a bit of a weird release cycle because We haven't finished the album yet. We've done most of it, and including a few singles that are kind of ready to go, including Gammons Lament. But we're kind of like starting the release process while still not having it finished. But, you know, the pressure's good.
We became a band in November, nearly 3 years ago. We started in a weird release cycle. So we're now like, basically when everyone released music, we were like 2 months behind it. So for the album, it's like we're getting back onto normal release schedules. So May was a normal release schedule. We've got one hopefully in September and then one in December. So fingers crossed it should be, by the time the album comes out, we should be bang on for like normal releasing.
So what can we expect to hear on the album? Is it going to be more of the same? Are there some sort of slight changes of direction from what you've done before? What you're working on, basically?
I actually just think it's even more inherently us, what we're releasing now. It feels like we've really hit our stride and we really know what we want. And we're all now so close and we like basically see each other pretty much every day and all of this. So it's like, it feels like you're writing with family and like away with family. So it's like, it feels like we're literally about to birth our child. So it feels very honest and true to us. I mean, there's going to be some things that I don't think people expect in there. There's a few more maybe like lyrically, I would say diverse things in there. It's not all, you know, the same like funny pop stuff, pop punky stuff it's been a few more serious bits. There's a ballad in there, bit of poems. Everything else has been us, but this just feels now like so inherently us that I'm so excited for it. Even though, you know, we've still got a few more to do. I just can't wait to hear what comes out the other end.
None of us, I don't think, have ever done an album to this level before, in terms of like actually having a label backing us and stuff. So I think we've all taken it really seriously, and a lot of it's been about honing the sound that we've got and streamlining it a bit. We're learning a lot as we're gigging still and getting feedback, which is all going into the album as well. I'm incredibly proud of it, and yeah, I can't wait to get out.
So your music's quite intense and very abrasive, which I really like. How do you keep it fresh and stay unique when you're playing in a genre that has so much competition?
I can't play guitar for shit, which I think has been really helpful. I detune all of my guitars. I don't know music notation at all. Louis and Will, fucking tight musicians. They can pick a note out wherever they like. But they build these beautiful tapestries, and then I can do janky guitar over the top, and it always sounds unpredictable because even I don't know what I'm playing. So I think that lends into it quite well.
Well, I think like for me, that this is why I kind of said how important it was for me to make sure that I have my own voice. Obviously, of course, I'm going to say this, but I like the way I view the world. I view the world that's sad and depressing and quite I find funniness within the dark, and manage to be able to put that into music and find a way that people can relate to things that they don't necessarily like, you know, have experienced or necessarily affects them personally. Like, I like to be able to do things like that make people feel seen and like that they can relate to us and to me. And I think that kind of helps keep your music's always going to be fresh and refreshing if you keep to yourself. And like, I don't like to make like super serious music because otherwise, like, I know that it's cool to be punk and it's cool to care about things and all of those, but it's like you could be cool and care, but like put a little joke in there so that it's not so like heavy. And I think that that's what kind of sets us apart from a lot of stuff that's out at the moment. Because I mean, especially with like female fronted bands, it's like very easy to fall into the trap of you just are put against as competition as each other. It means that it's like inevitably important to find the thing that makes you you.
Okay, onto social media. Your YouTube channel is a little bare at the moment. You have one video, but it's for the current single and it's very coolly weird. Tell us about the video for the single.
We met Kozo and we came up with this kind of concept. I don't know, I just loved the idea of like dating a meat puppet. I just thought it would be so funny, so off the wall, and especially with like something quite dark and heavy and like the sound of the music and the tone, to be able to have something like a bit lighter and a bit more like chaotic and weird, as the like background was kind of more my vibe. I've never eaten so much in 2 days in my whole entire life, including, like, to top it off, a whole chicken, a whole duck. In fact, it wasn't a chicken; it was a duck.
It was a duck, was it? Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, ate a whole duck.
We drove back for it, so the rest of the band, minus Flora, had kind of finished all their filming bits, and we were driving back to Bath, and we just kind of went, all right, Flora, good luck. We're getting all these images of them just having to eat this whole fucking duck.
And before that, like a whole bowl of huge bowl of mashed potatoes before it.
You had chicken wings in the morning?
A whole plate of ribs and a pint at 8 a.m. And then a whole red velvet cake.
Did you eat the whole thing?
Yeah. They had to get out a second cake.
I couldn't quite make out what it said on the cake in the video. What does it say on it?
Do you know what? Our manager is going to love that, because they said when they got the first draft of the video, maybe cuts the cake for a little bit longer so you can read what it says. It's supposed to say happy anniversary, but I really like that you've followed up on Jace's good advice, which proves she's a good manager.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be quite fun to do so, like, to kind of. We're not very serious people. To quote Succession. I don't think we could have done a really standard music video, because I think we all would have cringed a bit at it and the thought of doing it.
We don't take ourselves seriously at all. Obviously, we care deeply about what we do, but like musically, we want to have fun, and I think it's so much about energy with us, and you know, presenting ourselves as approachable.
There is a live video on YouTube of you playing Meet in Paris last year, where you said, "This is the most ridiculous breakdown in the band." Are there attempts to outdo it on the new album?
Oh yeah,
I think it's already been done.
Yeah, it has already been done. We're playing songs at the moment that I think are heavier now. But again, it's learning what works. We wrote Gammons Lament, now not Meet anymore. Whenever we're playing shows and stuff, it's so much about seeing what people enjoy when we play them, and almost trying to focus ourselves down those areas when we're writing again. And people just love the heavier shit and the breakdowns and the stupid lyrics stupid lyrics is the wrong thing. It sounds very
stupid lyrics. What great! That's a compliment. Don't want boring.
Okay, let's talk about live shows. I've seen a couple of your live performances or live songs on YouTube. I imagine you all have a lot of fun playing live. It seems to be that live is what you are most passionate about.
Yeah, for me, 100% yes. It's my favourite thing in all of this. It's that you can reach out and feel in the atmosphere the response to your music, which I think is it's just a drug that I've never felt anything like that before in my life, and I still get that enjoyment to this day. I've been playing in bands for like 5-6 years, no longer than that. God, 10 years. But this band, it's all about high energy. It's fun. It's expressive.
Can I just point out, you say high energy. On one of the videos, when Flora's talking to the audience, you look like you're asleep until you start playing your riff.
I think that's... do you know what? I've tried to do this because I noticed myself doing this. It's because Flora's talking and I don't want to like draw attention away. So like, if I'm talking, I'll be there. But if Flora's talking, I will be restrained. But then as soon as the song kicks in again, high energy. Don't you worry. I love it.
I mean, I love live. I love playing live. I could do it every day. It is the best. And then like in this band in particular, it's so fun. It's such a like safe space for all of us. We're so supportive of each other. There's no competition within ourselves or anything like that you can sometimes get within bands. Like we just have such a nice dynamic that it does just genuinely feel like you're just up there with your like 3 best mates and you're just having a good time. It's just so much fun. And when I think like audiences really respond to that as well, because there's just no bollocks about it.
I feel so genuinely proud of all of us when we finish a show, and it's like I can't think of the last time where we finished a show where like we haven't like had a hug at the end or like congratulated each other on it.
I think it might have been when we did our last one in Switzerland, in that boiling hot room.
Oh yeah, that was hot. But that was just because it was too sweaty.
And all of our instruments were broken. We were all just sat there like, oh, let's make it through the show.
That was a tough one.
That was a hard one.
So what's been your best show so far and why?
I think Dijon for me. So we played, what was the name of the venue? Le Vipier?
Yeah.
It was a pretty big festival. I can't remember the name of the festival, but I should probably be plugging it.
It was Indie Day.
Indie Day,
yeah.
We turned up. We had no idea what to expect. This was close to a year ago now. And the stage was enormous, the biggest stage any of us have ever played on. And we were playing at like 10 o'clock after Grandma's house, who we're big fans of and who definitely outswing us by quite a major margin. We went onto this stage and it was just incredible. The crowd response was, from the first note that we played, it was just pure energy back. And I remember literally just sprinting up and down the stage whilst we were playing. And I broke a guitar that day as well. Like I just snapped the neck off my guitar, one of my guitars, by trying to jump onto the stage because I thought I could make it.
He did that in sound check in front of everyone.
It could have been worse. It could have been in front of like 1,000 people. Instead, it was in front of like our team and the very professional sound engineers. That show, bands might not talk about this, but most bands are really narcissistic. As soon as you get off stage, you're watching all your Instagram stories. You're probably rewatching them a few times. We sat in the van till about 2 a.m. just rewatching videos of ourselves playing this show.
It was so nuts. It was great. I've got like The Great Escape was a proper wild one for me. Having lived in Brighton, I'd never been on it. On the Main Escape, I'd always been on the alt in previous bands. And we had like a line out the door. It was packed at our sound check. Like it was one in, one out. It was insane. And I was just like, oh my God, is everyone here for us? Like that is absolutely nuts. And it was at a bar that I used to work in. And then the other one was one on our recent tour with, like, we were basically out in Europe for the entirety of May this year. And I think it was in Lyon. We can never remember where it was, but we played at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Was that Nice?
Nice. We played to 600 incredibly drunk people at 1 in the morning. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. So that one is up there just for me in terms of like, I think that's probably the most fun I've ever personally had on stage.
Currently, you've got 2 shows listed on Bands in Town, the Burn It Down Festival in Torquay and I'm not going to try and pronounce that, in France. But you've also said you have a tour announcement coming soon. Is that going to be UK or Europe?
Europe, baby.
We've also got some really cool UK shows coming up. We're playing Urkfest in Newcastle. We're playing somewhere in Bristol. We can't discuss it yet.
We've got a lot of these. We're
playing Swan
soon,
the one that means music in Welsh, and then we're playing with Carsick at the end of December. One date's announced, one isn't. So if you're a fan of Carsick as well, keep an eye on that one.
Watch this space.
Yeah, I think it's very much a watch this space. Who knows? You could release this podcast and we've announced stuff.
The final question, what music are you listening to at the moment that people may not be aware of and should take some time to check out?
Spider Honey from Bristol. I think they're incredible. BOI, but I think it's pronounced boy. I think they're from Rotterdam.
What boy? They're from Belgium. We played with them, right?
Yeah. I think they live by. Oh, it's Antwerp. They're from. I think they live near Trix. I think.
Yeah.
Prokowski. I've been listening to Prokowski's EP on loop for about 3 months now. It's really special, and they're brand spanking new. I think they're going to be incredible.
For me, I've been listening to, literally just seeing what I've been listening to, Alien Chicks from London. Absolutely amazing punk jazz 3-piece. Really worth a listen. St. Clair, also from London. Brilliant, lovely people. Young, hot Rolling Stones cover that they were just on. So they're doing really pretty. They probably don't need a plug, but there you go. and Prostitute from America. They're so fucking good. They made the best album of last year by an absolute country mile.
So, for people wishing to find out more about Bureau de Change or Bureau de Change, or however the band are going to pronounce it, they can be found on Instagram, YouTube, and Bandcamp. The latest single, The Gammons Lament by Bureau de Change, is out now via Alcopop Records on their Bandcamp and can be streamed via all the usual platforms. Flora and Connor, thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.